You're working, you're posting, and you're trying to stay active, but like your bank account isn't reflecting your effort. How do I actually get clients? What are we doing every day? What should I be doing every day? Is this even going to work for me? So if you're in the first few years of real estate and your closings aren't consistent yet, this is probably what it feels like right now. You're working, you're posting, and you're trying to stay active, but like your bank account isn't reflecting your effort. Some months feel okay, and other months you feel like you're starting from zero all over again. Kind of like that movie 50 First Dates. You kind of wake up, zero in the bank account, not sure how you're going to fill it. And you've probably caught yourself putting in AI, like, how do I actually get clients? Or what should I be doing every single day? Or is this even the right job for me? And the hardest part is, y'all, and you feel stuck because what you've been doing is what you've been told. You're posting more. You're trying to stay consistent on social media. You're trying to stay visible, right? But it's not turning into those real conversations, and it's definitely not turning into closings. So here's the shift. Here's what you need to really focus on. See, today we're not going to be focusing on random activity. We're focusing on control. Control over who sees your message, control over who you reach out to, and control over who you follow up with. Because when you combine social visibility with a structured outbound effort, you stop guessing and you start building a predictable pipeline. And that's the goal, y'all. Predictability in this business is gold. So in this episode, I'm going to show you how to take your control of your social strategy and your outbound conversation. So instead of hoping something works, you have a simple, repeatable system that generates conversations, gives you opportunities, and hopefully your next deal becomes consistently in your bank account. So y'all stick around because at the end of the show, you're going to know exactly who to reach out to, what to say, and how to exactly follow up with them. And more importantly, you'll understand how to combine social media and outbound outreach into one clear system that actually produces closings. Y'all, there was a thing the other day I went to for my daughter's school, and the speaker they brought in said this little, quote, if you will. And I've heard it, you've heard it, we've all heard it, but I don't know why it just hit me between the eyes, and it is sticking with me. And is consistency eats creativity for lunch every single day. Or consistency eats talent for lunch every single day. Meaning, guys, real estate is not about being the most creative. It's not about being the most showmanship or the craziest person online doing TikTok dances. It's about consistency. It's about showing up every day, putting the effort in, putting the work in, and doing things that move the needle. So I got a solution for you. So one, we got to target the right people without chasing them. See, they can tell when you have commission breath. People can tell when you're calling them just because you want a deal. I had a roommate back in college that he went to like several different sales jobs, and I swear every time I saw his number, I knew he was trying to sell me something new. Insurance, life insurance, whatever. Unfortunately, he's a real estate agent now. He's doing a good job, but it was one of those things that like you just saw it coming and you don't want to be that guy. And what I see is most agents waste time trying to reach out to anyone instead of focusing on the people they're most likely to convert. See, the goal is not more. It's smarter, intentional outreach. When you clearly define who you're talking to, your conversations become natural, they become easier, and God knows they're going to be more productive. So here's a simple target list I want you to kind of build out. Here's a practical start, right? Start with your sphere, your highest probability opportunities. Now, if you don't have your sphere together yet, guys, you need to go back a couple months and watch my sphere building series because it works. It has helped a lot of people make a lot of money in this business. It's not necessarily all my original ideas. I have put this together through 20 years of business, and it works. So you got to start with a sphere first. So you might be jumping ahead if you're trying to execute what's in this video versus going back and making sure you got your people documented. But let's go back. Let's say you did it already. So let's start with your highest opportunities. Friends, family, past coworkers, classmates, maybe, people you graduate with, your high school friends, anybody you already know, anybody that already likes you and already trusts you. And hopefully they like you no matter what. But, if you're a bully in high school, maybe they didn't. And these are people you've had real conversations with before, right? And then we're going to layer in some things, right? Some warm social contacts. These are people who consistently like, comment, like show your stories online or view your stories online. So now that you got your sphere worked out, you need to work with people with the highest probability of bringing a deal to you. Now, let's be very clear. These people, you're not calling to see if they want to buy and sell. We're not doing that. We're seeing if they know people that want to buy and sell. These are the people that are the cheerleaders for your business. So they're the easy ones. Feel redundant because every video it's friends, family, past coworkers, right? And you can sprinkle in maybe you have some friends from back in high school or college. And these are people that already know you. already like you, hopefully like you, and they trust you. These are people that you've had real conversations with, that you call them, your number pops up, and they answer it by, hey, Brad, what's going on? Those are the type of people I want you to call. Once we've got that, that's the first layer. Then we're going to layer in some warm social contacts. These are people maybe look online, people that consistently like what you're posting or commenting on your stuff, or you can tell they're viewing your stories. Or maybe they're people at church that you know who they are, they know who you are, but you've never really had a hard or intentional conversation with them. And then the third layer is we're going to go into past inquiries, right? Or old leads. We're going to go to those people next. And then after that, we're going to go to followers who engage more than once on your stuff. And we're going to take these people and put them in 3 categories. We've got hot leads, right? Actively thinking about buying and selling. We've got warm people who are showing engagement signals, people that are like, hey, I might be interested, or they're going through a life change, those kinds of engagement signals. And then cold, no recent interaction, not sure who they are or where they're at in the process. And we're going to prioritize this outreach like this, right? So 60% warm, this is our daily follow-ups, 60% warm, 30% sphere, 10% cold, only if you have time to get those done. We know you're busy and you're doing a lot of things, so we have to prioritize this call list because you've got to get the best bang for your buck. If you start with cold, you're not going to get a lot of answers. It's going to make you feel miserable. You're going to feel like you're a loser, and you're not going to make the rest of the calls. So let's set ourselves up for success. Let's flip the script, go warm, go hot, go warm, go cold, right? And you're not trying to reach more people. You're trying to have a better conversation with the right people. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. The other thing I see that a lot of agents need help with is crafting messages that actually get replies. Just circling around, just checking in. How's life? Guys, that's shit. Those are not things that are going to get you replies. You've got to end with hooks, with questions, right? And if you're not sure which hooks or questions you need, drop me a DM and I will share with you the best hooks and the best comments that I can use that get me actual responses. And here's the thing. If you're not getting people to respond to your messages, again, you feel like you're a failure. You feel like you're yelling into a deep, dark tunnel and nobody's coming back. But it's not that you're not trying. It's you're not doing it right with the communication or the right style. See, messages fail because they feel transactional. They feel forced. They feel overly sales focused. It's that commission breath again. Hey, just checking in. How's life? You're still renting? Or, hey, the interest rates are low. You should look at a house. Guys, that's not fun calls to make, and they're not fun calls to get. So the goal is to make outreach feel like a natural continuation of a relationship, not a pitch. So here's how you can take this into like a practical standpoint, right? And we need to use conversational based messaging. So what I want you to start with is curiosity. Hey, I saw you checked out that post. Have you been keeping an eye on the market? Random question. Are you still loving your place or thinking about a move at some point? Now, these are people engaging with you off your social media. So it's okay to do this. It's okay to have this conversation back and forth, and it's not going to be an immediate one, right? They post on your comment, you reply back. It may be a couple hours or days in between this. It might be a slow process. But what you also need to do is anchor your message into context. So if they like to post, reference it. If they viewed your stories, acknowledge it casually. And if you know them, connect it to some personal thing. So I like to use a simple 3-part structure. Opener, that's the context reference. Bridge, that's your light curiosity. And question, that's easy to answer. So I know I'm throwing a lot of these things at you. So if you'll hit me in the DMs and let me know you watched this video, I will send you this in a Word document form that you can see and kind of walk through it, because it's a whole lot easier to have in front of you while you're doing this than just trying to remember all these things off of video. So I'm all about having a handout that goes with the training, right? And as we move on, going back to that, the timing matters. So you've got to message them within 24 hours. Like you have to, because after that, it gets old. They're like, I don't remember doing that, because they're probably going through hitting up a bunch of things. And then also you're going to want to follow up in 2 to 3 days if you don't get a reply, and one more follow-up after a week, and then move on. So that's going to feel salesy, because most of you stop communication or conversations after 1 attempt, after 2 attempts. If it's a cold lead, it's 12 attempts. If it's a warm lead, it's probably 3 or 4. And here's what I want you to remember when you're doing this. It's not that people don't want to respond to you. It's not that they don't want to answer your question. It's they're busy. You may have DM'd them at 4 o'clock when they're in carpool line or soccer drop off or the grocery store, and they see it come through and they're like, oh man, yeah, hold on, I've got to pay for this grocery bill real quick. And they move on. And then they get 10 more DMs, they get 10 more comments in their feed. And guess what? You get buried. So you're not being pushy by following up. You're pushing it to the top of their feed so they have the ability to respond to you. So after we do that, let's do the daily outreach habit, right? So you need to do 5 to 10 new conversations per day. Not bad, right? Then 5 follow-ups from previous ones. And guys, here's the thing. Avoid the long paragraphs, the copy and paste scripts, the AI crap. If you do use AI, like take it and then make it your own. And avoid jumping straight into it. Are you buying or selling? Remember, this has to be a mindset shift for you. We're so focused on deals and closings that we have to take a step back. Remember, you're not trying to close the deal in the DM. I always try to say, like, you're not trying to get married on the first date. You're trying to start a conversation that leads to the next step. Remember that. You're trying to have a conversation that leads to the next step. You're not trying to get married on the first date. And then another solution I'm going to give you, I think this is the third solution I got for you. I want you to track, follow up, and convert without being overwhelmed. See, most agents lose deals not because they didn't find leads, it's because they didn't track or follow up consistently. Have you ever had a client or a friend or acquaintance that you've talked to, you've reached out to, you had a little bit of conversation about buying and selling, and then you see a couple months or weeks later that they just bought a house? I see it all the time with leads. I see cold leads that come in, we reach out to them, we see what's going on, and then our data pops up and goes, hey, they actually bought a house 2 months ago. So the leads aren't bad. Our follow-up was bad. So that can also be the problem. So it's got to be the follow-up and consistency. Remember, consistency eats talent for lunch any day of the week. So the money that you're going to make is going to be in that follow-up. The hard part is starting the conversation, but the money is in the follow-up. So without a system, your opportunities slip away. So you've got to build a lightweight follow-up machine, y'all. And you've got to use some simple things, right? You could use Google Sheets or Excel if that's your thing, or basic CRM or more intense CRM. You can, depending on your nerd level, go into like Follow Up Boss, right? And you can do Follow Up Boss. You can connect that to your Facebook account. You can connect it to Zapier. So when actual conversations come in, they get put into your Follow Up Boss account, a trigger starts, and then a task list works out. It's not going to automatically DM them or call them, but it's going to remind you to stay top of mind with them. That's what you need. If you don't know how to do that, feel free to shoot me another DM. We've got a whole outline on how to set up conditional formatting in Follow Boss, or there's some other ones that you could use too. Worst case, you don't want to DM me, go hire somebody. Go into the Follow Up Boss page and say, hey, who can do this? There are tons of people that will do that for a fee. And it's not that expensive. So back to it. If you're using a spreadsheet or whatever, you only need a few columns, right? Name, source, is it Facebook, Instagram, those kind of things. When's the last time you contacted them? When are you going to do it next? Status, right? Hot, cold, whatever it is. And then log your activity. So I don't think this should take you more than 10 or 15 minutes max. Remember, these are DMs. These are things online and social. So you know you're on the screen time way more than you should be already. So why not use that screen time to actually drum up business? And also remember this, every conversation gets recorded. If you can't track it, you can't convert it. And every follow-up gets scheduled. So I personally, again, like a CRM because I have it built out. It took me one time to go first initial contact, 2 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days. This is what I do. And I go into Follow Boss every morning and see my task and I knock those out. I'm done for the day. I know what I'm saying. And if you want to take it one step further, on each of those days, you have 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, whatever it is, go ahead and put the script in there in the notes and you just copy, paste it and send it. You know what you want to say. So it's not like you're always getting stuck in your brain on what's next. And listen, there is no, I'll remember later. I really want you to get in a CRM, but if you got to start with a spreadsheet, that's fine, but you've got to set a date. You got to set a follow-up from the follow-up. Always do that. You can't say, I'll remember later because you won't. Then it'll be 2 months later and that person bought a house through somebody else and you just lost a lot of money. And now you got to tell your kids why you can't go on spring break vacations, right? So let's do this. Turn the conversations into clear next steps. I'll send you homes that match what you're looking for if the conversation goes that way. Let's hop on a quick call this week. I'll check back next month. Or better said, hey, would it be okay with you if I check back with you next month? You get their buy-in. So when you call them next time, they've already said yes. And you need a rhythm, right? I know a lot of you think it's like stop, go. I'll do it when I get time. I got showings, I got closings. But here's the thing. If you get immediate reply, you got to continue the conversation. So if you hit them up, they hit you up, you hit them up, they go back, right? If it's no response, 2 or 3 days. Still no response, then go 7 or 10 days maybe, right? And then long-term, kick it out a month just to see what's going on. But again, go ahead and pre-make these scripts so you know what you're already going to say. After that, we want to make sure that we're checking our weekly performance. So guys, again, you can't get better if you don't track it. And the cool part is your DMs are all logged. So you can actually see the number of contacts you're making. So I want you to track how many conversations you started, how many conversations or follow-ups you completed, how many appointments got set. Those 3 things. That's going to give us a batting average. That's going to give us a percentage. So we know that we have to start 100 conversations and do 200 follow-ups to get 3 appointments. And then we get better at our scripting and those numbers get better, but at least you know where to start and how much time to put into it. Now, there's one non-negotiable rule I think you need to know about. Every conversation must end with a clear next step. If there's not a next step, there's no pipeline and there's no deals. A pipeline is moving people through it, right? A pipeline is starting from cold conversation to the closing table. And if you don't have the follow-up or the clear conversation, the next steps, you don't know what's going on. You can't move them through there. You will never get to that deal. So listen, your business doesn't grow from activity alone. It grows from tracked conversations and consistent follow-up. So the next episode, we're going to be taking a deep dive and we're going to take this a little bit further. And it's going to go into, if you need a closing in 90 days, you need to use this social media system, right? It's not fancy gear. It's not fancy people. It is literally a 90-day thing to get you business from your social media. And I'm going to show you exactly where to go, what system to turn on, and the reasons you need to do this. So make sure you watch that next video.